The difference between meth and coke. What is the difference between methamphetamines and coke? I have snorted both of them, and these are the differences. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. I am a recovering cocaine addict. That was my drug of choice along with alcohol, and I've snorted both meth and coke, and both are different and have similarities. I am ADHD, so I do take Adderall to help with my ADHD, which also made the coke and meth experience a little bit different for me. When it comes to both of the drugs, they can be categorized in the same because they are both stimulants. They both do affect your dopamine in your brain release, and they both hit your brain and affect it in some similar ways. Now, these drugs are very different though too, and they affected me very differently. Biggest one is when you lay them out in lines, both can be snorted just like coke and meth. Okay, both can be snorted, similarity there. I put both of them up my nose. Unfortunately, I only did meth 3 times, and I hated meth. It was not my drug of choice, and it also affected me differently than what the coke did, so it wasn't something I ever went back to. When you are snorting these though, there is a huge difference. Coke does go up your nose a lot smoother. It went up a lot easier, and it gave me just a different rush. It had a drip that almost was like a chlorine kind of gas feel to it. It was a smooth like drip, and you almost excited about it and you wanted it, where when I snorted meth, it felt like I was snorting glass shards. This thing's cutting everything up here. I could feel my eyes and my tear ducts just start to tear up, where with coke, I never teared up. It would just, the drip felt very chemical to me. I hated it. I hated the drip from it. It was not something that like I'm spitting afterwards because I'm just like, nope, this wasn't right. This wasn't right. And cocaine, when it hit me very quickly, and it gave me just this rush of energy, and I felt great. I felt on top of the world, and I wanted to do more. And I was so afraid of losing this wonderful high inside of me. It was like doves and birds all of a sudden taking off, and I'm an eagle, and I'm flying over the world, and I'm just on top of it all, and my jaw's locked up, and this is just great, and I can drink more. Whatever I was drinking, it sobered me up from, I felt. And I would just keep wanting to do more and more and more. It numbed my whole body. I could feel the tingling in my fingers. This was something that, I was massively addicted to, where with meth, it hit me still just as quickly. Didn't give me a flying high feeling like cocaine did. It actually slowed me down some. Again, I'm ADHD. Meth is something that actually is treatable for ADHD, and it would slow me down instead of speeding me up like cocaine did. It slowed me down. I became almost more aware of what was happening in the present. It did sober me up like coke did, so it kind of overrid the whole, being drunk. The worst part is anytime I did these drugs, I was usually drinking and I was drunk. It overrode all of that, but it also made me kind of grounded to where I'm paying attention now more all of a sudden to what's around me. Instead of like coke, it was like, dude, the party's on, let's go do this. And with meth, it was like, oh, okay, wait, what are we doing? And I'd get very angry too, because it was not a drug that I wanted to do. Meth was something that was very scary to me. So I would get a lot of anger all of a sudden. I'd be angry at the people around me. Because I slowed down, I'd become even more angry at them. I'm watching them smoke this stuff, and they're laughing because they're like, hey, we got you to do meth. I didn't want to do it. In fact, with meth, it was something that was easy for me to sleep on. When I would do it, it would slow me down enough where I'd be upset. I'd leave the party. I'd go home, and I'd literally go to sleep. Where when it came to coke, I didn't want the party to stop. I was completely energized. It was like how caffeine affects a lot of people. Caffeine affects me differently. It slows me down, but cocaine, it sped me up. I was energized. I wanted to party all night long. Next thing you know, it's 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm going strong. I'm like, dude, I'm going to take on the day. I don't need to sleep. And I would wake up even. I woke up at a party, and I remember walking out because it was one of the 3 times I did meth, and they're all up still, and they're like, dude, how did you go to sleep? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't like you people anymore because I did meth. But I literally could sleep on meth, where with coke, it was very difficult for me to sleep because I didn't want it to stop. And I had this massive obsession where as soon as that high would hit me, I had to keep doing more. I had to chase that dragon almost because I didn't want to lose that high that I had. I didn't want to lose that feeling that I had. I would do everything I could to put more coke up my nose. When it came to meth, I stopped everything. I didn't want to do anymore. I was over it. And it brought me down instead of lifting me up like the cocaine did. Cocaine was just, it was a party drug for me, and I loved the party, and it made me feel like I was the life of the party, and I was sobered up, and I loved to shoot pool, and I wanted to play cards, And a lot of the things that I would do well on coke, people would do on meth. Like I could sit there and play like Wii Bowling for hours. I could sit there and play Uno for hours. I love to play card games. I just wanted to do stuff. Where with meth, my brain almost hit the opposite and it slowed me down. I'm like, dude, I'm over all this. Like I'm out. Like I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to do anything anymore. Like I want to go to sleep, wake up, and I know that this feeling now is gone. And it was like almost if I took too much Adderall and you get almost hyper focused, is what meth in a sense did to me. I hated that feeling. There was nothing that attracted to me to the drug whatsoever. The even snorting it, if I can say this, is if it had that effect but still snorting it was very similar to cocaine, I probably would have gotten addicted to snorting it. But none of it was similar in that way. The only thing that was similar is how quickly it would hit my system. Both of them hit me very, very, very fast. And it was like, boom, okay. Next thing you know, you're kind of tightened up in the jaw. With coke, I could not stop talking. When it came to meth, I was quiet. It was such a polar opposite for me. And it was really weird too, because even when it goes to ADHD and Adderall, when I take my Adderall, I'm very focused then. I do talk. I'm not a chatty Cathy. That's a lot of where I think I mentally self-medicated with alcohol because I felt like I was always very anxious, and it made me just a lot more talkative. I didn't really care. Any kind of filter I had or barrier that I had went down. There was these huge two differences between the two, and every single time that I ever did meth, instead of like coke, I wanted more. I had to do more. Like if somebody teased me with only a couple lines, I was upset because I had to get more. Where with meth, I did one line and there could be a ton of meth and I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm out. I'm over this. Both of them, even when it came to meth, it killed any kind of sex drive that I had. I didn't want anything to do with sex, women, anything at all. I literally just wanted to go to bed. Where with coke, I do so much coke that no, it ain't getting hard. But I'm doing more and more coke, and I mean, I'm sitting there just with the limp, let's do this. And all I wanted to do was continually keep getting high, and I didn't want to lose it, where I just want to go to sleep with meth. I wanted that nightmare to be over. I wanted to stop with what I just put up my nose. So for me, they were not similar at all. I hate it when people are like, oh yeah, they're really similar drugs. No, they're not. They're both massively addictive. They're both massively can be deadly. Especially when it comes to meth, that ruins people tremendously, and coke does too. I mean, both are just massively bad drugs. I mean, if you have the choice of doing either of them, don't do either. Don't do either. Like, trust me. It seems like it would be something fun to do. It's a party drug, anything like that. And I never opened up my eyes the first time I did meth I did coke and go, man, this is not good. This is bad. You're going to be addicted to this. Don't do any more. And instead, when it came to coke, I wanted to do more and more and more. It almost probably would have had a different effect on me later on in life if I would have snorted meth first, because I hated the feeling so much that I may have been afraid to do coke. I don't know. If you are struggling out there, though, I know what it's like to struggle with that addiction, to struggle with wanting to get high every single day, wanting to numb it every single day. It's difficult. Tell everybody around you, and it is embarrassing. It is hard because you're like, dude, I'm a meth addict. I'm a coke addict. Like, help, please help. And a lot of times people don't know what to do, but there are programs out there. Even in the description down below, I have links to NA and AA. They are not similar drugs, but they are both highly addictive drugs, and they're going to ruin your life. It's a struggle. The best thing I ever did was get sober. When it came to alcohol, that was trying to get sober, that one was a different kind of battle for me. Cocaine was a whole entire different battle, and it was a drug that I wanted nonstop. I could not get enough of it. And at least when it came to alcohol, I would drink enough that I'd end up passing out. I'd get tired. Where with coke, it didn't stop, and my energy level just kept going up and up and up, to the point that I felt like my head was going to float off of me, and I was just flying high. Everybody had little bubble eyes, and like I was living in like an anime world almost. And it was a bad addiction that would have killed me. So if you are struggling out there, reach out for help. Let everybody know that you're struggling with it. Don't be embarrassed by it. You'd be surprised how many people struggle with addiction. And it's common to have multiple addictions. And even when we do get sober, to continually fight that addiction off and new addictions off. Even when it comes to video games, when it comes to different things out there, I find myself getting addicted to them, and I have to watch those warning signs. When it comes to meth and it comes to coke, both are nasty, evil drugs. Don't do them if you can. Just don't. If I could tell anybody out there that's a user right now trying to get sober, would be, you know what, just right now, this moment, put it all down, flush it down the toilet, You're going to be mad at yourself in like 15 minutes. Call somebody and say, I'm an addict. I need you to come over right now and be with me. And have somebody with you as you start to hit that sobriety trail, because it's a fight. And you're going to continually mentally beat yourself up. And it is a fight every single day. But it does get easier, and that's the best part about it. Do I still miss the drip? Do I still miss the stuff? Yeah, I do. Still fight with it. But luckily, I have created a life that it's not easily accessible. It's not in my face, and I don't have to worry about it. And that helps protect my sobriety. And it's our responsibility once we get sober from this stuff to protect our sobriety with everything we got. So if you are struggling out there, my heart goes out to you. If you want the sobriety, fight for it, because it's worth that fight every day. You're worth that fight every day. And the biggest thing of all is just don't give up and know that you matter. And what you're going through right now, it gets better. And you'd be surprised how amazing your life can be.